Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't.
Welcome back, SportsRanter Nation. Thank you to our hosts, Jacob, Nick, and Ben, for joining us here today, live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. And this SportsRanter channel is turning into the Chiefs Ranter for tonight. And thank you to our special guest Seth, for joining us here today, Eagles fan, our number one chatter. And Seth, if you're ready, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you. We have it on record of us blasting Nick Sirianni, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts ain't Jalen Hurts no more, and here you are, and now your Eagles are in the Super Bowl. And so I just want you to go ahead and take your chance and let us hear what you think, bud. And thanks for joining us. Awesome, and your microphone is not, I don't know, you working? You good? Now you're on.
Can't hear you.
Oh,
can't hear it.
No. See what happens?
It's all gone to hell.
It's all gone to hell. It's all good.
Gotta put the book down, Seth.
Come on now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now, sir. Please take the floor.
Sorry about that. Yeah, man. I've been trying to tell you guys, like, we didn't have to play the passing game. Saquon just takes it the first play, 60 yards to the house. You know, our defense, number one in the league. Didn't need any of it.
All right. Well, like I said, yeah, we've been, like I said, we've been hating on Nick Sirianni, A.J. Brown, but I agree. I think on February 9th, everyone's going to be an Eagles fan still. After the things that we have been witnessing and seeing, you guys, we have to talk about this. And Seth, thank you for joining us, because obviously you give us another different perspective, because you're an Eagles fan in this game, and hopefully it doesn't affect you personally the same way it affected Jacob over this AFC Championship game. And so let's talk about it, Jake. You know, like, let's just go ahead onto the Chiefs rant, because there's so much to talk about. You know, whether it was a catch or the call for you know, Josh Allen in the first down. It's just amazing what we're all watching, you know, and if we could bring up the past or what we've been watching for 30 years, I've never seen anything like this. And so, Jacob, please, once you're done, please pass it on to Nick.
Yeah, it was just got a lot of thoughts. I'll try to make sure I kind of try and keep everything flowing and not be all over the place with it. But yeah, it was really heartbreaking to see. I didn't realize that how much I really cared about that franchise and Josh Allen and all that. You know, because it was just gut wrenching to see him stand up there afterwards. You know, just on the verge of tears, and to have failed again, and like he said, you know, to be the man, you got to beat the man and all that stuff, but. I don't know if he believes, I don't know if anybody really believes at this point that it's just that easy anymore. You know, it's we'll get into it in a second, but it just, you know, it's heartbreaking, because you've got a guy now that has lost 4 years in a row to, you know, the Chiefs and Mahomes and the playoffs and all that, goes out there and just destroys himself to do everything he can. And it falls short every time. And, you know, they said, I read a stat, since 2018 or 2016, teams that score 4 touchdowns in a playoff game with no turnovers, those teams are 21-2. The record is 21-2. The 2 losses are Buffalo versus Kansas City. So where Buffalo can be damn near perfect, and it's just still not good enough. You know, with the way that, you know, way I feel, the way that a lot of people feel, the officiating, you know, has been going. I tried when I watched the game, I told myself, and, you know, I went back earlier today and I watched our show last week when we were doing our Super Bowl picks. And it was like, I was like watching myself stutter about, you know, who was your AFC pick? And it was like, well, you know, I've been going with them. And it was like, it was hard to get myself to believe that my pick was the Bills, just because it's like, I expected this so much, you know, and I got Andrew right before the game starts, and just let the game play out. And it's like, I knew I didn't need to. I didn't want to be this negative guy and all that stuff. I tried to watch the game and not pay attention to the penalties. And, yeah, Josh Allen came out and, adrenaline going. He overthrew the first 2 passes and all that stuff. I think he dialed it in fairly well, and made a lot of great throws. Before we get into the calls and stuff, I got to say it. One thing I got to do, I say it now. Mahomes is great and all that stuff. I didn't see in that game the kind of greatness that makes him the best quarterback of all time. I see a head coach in Andy Reid, who is now the all-time most winning coach for 2 franchises, the 2 franchises that are in the Super Bowl. And I see a defense that is they contained Josh Allen. They didn't let him get outside the pocket and run. Every time Josh Allen threw the ball to a receiver, there was a defender right on him. On offense, it's like with the motions and the way that Andy Reid, we always wonder, why didn't Eric Bieniemy get more of a shot as a head coach and stuff? Maybe we're seeing it now, because their offense looks unstoppable. But it's not because Mahomes, for the most part, I saw a bunch of 5 and 10-yard little passes. It's just he just knows how to get these guys open, and so, great as they are, yes, I can't sit here and say that they're not, but the fact that Mahomes gets all the credit, especially this year, is disgusting. And so, but yeah, moving on to the.
Before I pass it to Nick real quick, I saw a TikTok, Jake. It was a half and half split screen of like who's a better loser, and it was last week's game, AFC Championship game. Josh Allen is saying good game, and then the other one that played was the one game that Pat Mahomes lost to Josh Allen, and you can hear him. He goes, "That's a bullshit call. I can't believe it's the worst call ever." And Mahomes walks off the field pouting, and I've never seen that before, and I couldn't believe like that. That's really that you have the audacity to say that after all the things that are put in your favor, and so
just classless trash.
Nick, I can't do it anymore, Nick. I'm gonna burn my Pat Mahomes jersey that Manny bought me.
Yeah, I mean, Jake kind of, I didn't know he was going to go that route. He kind of stole my thunder a little bit when he was talking about Andy Reid. That's what I saw, we've seen it this whole time, and we've seen it this last 2 years, Patrick Mahomes, he didn't even make the Pro Bowl. Like, I'm not trying to demise his greatness, but like, yeah, he gets way too much credit. Like, he's great, he's clutch and all that, but like, dude, I didn't see every pass he completed except for the incomplete pass, and we'll get to the penalties. The guys are wide open. The guys are wide. Like, I mean, honestly, we could go out there and make those passes. Like, it wasn't, especially in this game, it's very adamant. They're wide open, like wide open. Like Jake said, they're all like 5-yard passes, and Andy Reid's a genius. I mean, the 2 fourth down calls, they do a Patrick Mahomes rollout. He's just running. They're like giving credit to Patrick Mahomes that he used his legs and all this. Guys, all he's doing is rolling out in man coverage, and there's no one there. It's not this rocket science freaking. We all know that when a defense is playing man and the quarterback gets out of the pocket, there's no one there to tackle him. Like, that's literally football 101. And the coaching, that's the only reason, because Josh Allen, I believe, is still at the same level, if not, better than Mahomes. Some people are like, if he wins this game, they're going to say he's better than Mahomes. As far as, putting a team on his shoulder, like Jake's been saying all year, I'll have to give him credit for that. But where the disparity is in coaching, dude. I even texted Jake throughout the game. I was like, can we run zone one time? Can we run a 1 zone play, please? Andy Reid is going to eat you alive all day in man, and that's exactly what he did. He's like, oh, you're going to stay in man? Fine. I'll just run another crossing route. I got 45 of them on my sheet here that you can't cover. I'm going to call every single crossing route until you change the zone. And they didn't make an adjustment. That's coaching to me. And I get it. They only lost by 3 points, but every week, what have we talked about, guys? You have to play perfect against these guys. You
Part
can't
of it,
hang around. You can't let them stick around. And
part of it's coaching. I think part of it too is though that I don't think Buffalo, and I never have thought this all season. I don't think Buffalo has the talent on the defense side to be able to play zone. I just don't think they have it in
Jake,
them.
it's harder to play man than zone. You
Uh,
that would go to my point.
But it's
Seth,
also a
please back me
communication
up. In
thing.
football, if you don't got guys, you don't have athletes. If you're weak, you play zone. You keep everything in front of you and you make the tackle. You don't play man. When you got studs, you play man.
Yeah.
That's literally my argument. And especially when that one DB went out with the concussion and they were talking about it on the broadcast the entire time, dude. And even Tony Romo kept saying, "Oh yeah, they're just gonna keep picking on Elam, and every play it's like,
yeah, they
there's
did.
Elam falling down again. There's Elam giving another like, are you gonna keep this guy on an island? Like, what are you doing? Andy Reid's not dumb. He's gonna eat you alive. And every big play, the thing is, what's smart with, yes, of course, it was 3-point game. They didn't get blown or nothing. It's tie game with 3 minutes left. All that nonsense, and we'll talk about what ended up happening. But that there's just little things like you can't let those things slide. Like the 2-for-5 tush push. Like, get out of here. Like, stop. Even the broadcast was like, oh yeah, Chiefs know he's going left. Like, dude, if the broadcaster knows what you're doing, like, you might want to throw a wrinkle in that. That's just coaching. That's just coaching.
The play calling and Joe Brady, I have not. I was not impressed last year. Even when he took over mid season last year, and their offense got better, and this year, it's like the most just basic, predictable offense. There's no creativity. There's no Andy Reid esque to this offense. Nothing surprises you. Nothing that they do surprises you, except when James Cook has the success that he has, and then he touches the ball nil, the last drive of the game, and we don't line up Allen, in a shotgun for an option on these 4th downs. That surprises me. But
Yeah.
Joe Brady needs to go.
And Josh Allen has to throw a 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 16 all the damn time, and he does it. He must be the most proficient 3rd down quarterback ever, Josh Allen. But Seth, now your team has to face this just Chiefs train or whatever, and so obviously it's kind of unique to have Jake here as a Bills fan and in the AFC Championship game, and now you here as an Eagles fan in the Super Bowl. To hear how you guys both think about this. And so, are you prepared at all, or is there anything that you're preparing yourself for? Or are you just going to enjoy the game, or what's going on?
Well, I got to prepare myself. My wife is a Chiefs fan, so I got to prepare myself there.
How long has she been a Chiefs fan? About 2 years?
No, she's a Mahomes fan, but yeah. So I was rooting for the Bills personally. And just to piggyback on what Nick was saying and Jake was saying, like, Josh Allen makes that team, hands down makes that team. And then what you guys were saying earlier, like I've seen the man defense just fail time and time again. Like if you don't have the corners, the DBs to play that, then you can't do it. And Buffalo clearly didn't. So, but yeah, I mean, preparing for the game is. I think we're in a better spot this year than we were 2 years ago. Quinyon Mitchell, I would say, is one of the, if not the rookie of the year, 1A, 1B with Jared Verse. Cooper DeJean has also got his hat in that race. So, we got better DBs this year. We got better linebacker play this year. Zach Bond being up for Defensive Player of the Year, first team All-Pro linebacker. Jalen Carter, first team All-Pro. As I say in the comments all the time, I know you don't see it, Nick, but I say thank you. For him.
I hate it. I still hate it.
I don't blame you. That guy's a menace.
Yeah.
But and then on
Also,
offense, it's the offense is the same offense. We lost Kelsey, but Cam Jurgens is playing out of his mind Pro Bowl this year. And then you take out Miles Sanders and add a different 26, the best 26 in the league, in Saquon. So I think if anything, we got better. And I don't think there's anything the Chiefs can do on offense that's going to surprise us or, they don't have the explosives. Pacheco took a step back since he broke his leg. They just don't have the explosives. They won't get the run game going. We're the best run defense in the league. So I just don't see a way, unless we shoot ourselves in the foot, that they win this game.
I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit of deja vu. I think we talked about this. I think the Eagles were in the Super Bowl last time. We were discussing something funny is going to happen, right? Like the Eagles were in the lead, and something weird happened in that Super Bowl, and some call, and all of a sudden momentum shift from the Chiefs, and they won the game. And the same thing happened to the Niners both times. And it's just
What happened with the Eagles, and everybody forgot. The Eagles defense wasn't that good, but they led the league in sacks that year.
mhm.
And then they played on that shitty field with the horrible sod, and you could see clip after clip after clip. Their DNs were slipping their entire time. Now, they should have changed their cleats or whatever, but like they didn't have their footing, and whether they flooded the field on purpose and all that stuff, I'm not gonna get into all that shit. But like that was the weird thing that happened in that Super Bowl. And I clearly remember remember that slippery field. I know Seth remembers, and
Dude,
they
so
couldn't
I
get
got
they
to
couldn't
that
get any
game.
pressure on the Mahomes.
I got to that game 2 hours before the game started, and during their warm-ups, you could see them all slipping and sliding. Like Goddard almost hurt himself before the game started.
Wow.
Yeah, so hopefully none of that nonsense happens. But I think what the Eagles proved, especially with this last week. Now I didn't think I had a debate. I won't say argument, a debate with my brothers over the weekend. You guys know Christian and Damien were big fans, and I said I don't see a way Washington can win this game. And they went, well, of course they can. And I was like, no, they can't. Like, barring some weird, 4 turnovers, a punt return for a touchdown, all the crazy stuff, barring the any given Sunday scenarios, I said, man for man, dude, they're going to destroy them. They're going to win by double digits. I literally said that. I said it confidently. And what they proved to me is, they've put an emphasis for years now on the trenches. They're going to win in the trenches. And so that's what they got to do against the Chiefs. They win in the trenches. They're going to give themselves the best shot, keep Mahomes off the field, all that stuff. And then hopefully, you just need 1 or 2 explosive plays. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, they match up great against the Chiefs. Obviously the Chiefs always find a way to freaking pull it out. But obviously we're all huge Eagles fans in a couple weeks. And
Yes,
and
we are.
hopefully,
No matter what
thing
we've
is,
said.
I hope Saquon for his own glory, because I love that guy ever since he came in the league. Like, just give him a crease, even like on that first play, dude. That's a 10-yard run for anybody else. For anybody else, that's a 10-yard run. The safety's coming at the angle. He's got the hole. He's filling the hole to the edge, dude. You get Saquon 1-on-1, 1-on-3. I mean, it's almost you get him out past the line. Like, good luck.
Well,
Good luck.
you even said it yourself, Nick. It's his vision that's his difference, and it's that vision that got him past that safety coming in. He saw it on the last second, and so. But anyways, we got to get into this stuff, okay? Jacob, this has been the logo. I got this logo because this has been the logo all year long. As you guys can see, there's a conspiracy about the colors that are in it. But this was it, okay, at the beginning. Anyways, okay.
Don't start. You said it last year and it worked.
Okay, whatever. But anyways, we knew the Chiefs were going to be in the Super Bowl. And we've been talking about it, as I mentioned in our threads, Jake, that we've been watching it for over half a decade now. And we've been talking about it since we've started this podcast. And it's happened every year. And now we've been talking about it on the SportsRanter, but now the whole world now, commentators are talking about it. And so let's talk about this game, these calls, and let's go on this Chiefs rant.
Well, this isn't just a bunch of wacko conspiracy theorist guys on podcasts, here and there anymore. Water cooler talk. People are pissed. People from, on podcasts, the Pat McAfee show, Rich Eisen. I mean, there's just up and down the line. Yes, the main networks, due to, obviously it's their job to go out and to promote these games and this and that, like ESPN. You're not going to hear a lot of this talk, but social media is bigger now than ever. And I'll go through some of them. Obviously, the big first down where Josh Allen rushed the ball, and you got 2 officials, 2 line judges coming in, running in, and the one that has him having the first down was in view of the ball. The one that had him short had Josh was looking at Josh Allen's back. How does this guy overrule this guy? How did they didn't even converse? It's just he sent the ball back, and that was it. And then they review it and say there's not enough evidence. Well, we saw, I don't know how much you guys were watching this stuff, but they had an overhead shot, and I don't think we saw it actually on the broadcast during the game. But this was after, a bunch of people had video and stuff. The overhead shot, that ball got over the line. The ball got over the line. There's no question about it. The play before that, where Dalton Kincaid caught the ball, that ball was a first down. That ball got over the line where he dove. Why they marked him a foot back, I don't know. Stupid Bills hey, we're going to do a hurry up, a 4th and 1 tush push, and then that's what led to essentially that. That was stupid. They should have taken a second and given time to, challenge the spot of that, because there was freeze frame. Kincaid was across, the ball was across that line. The ball was across the line. They did see, and the thing that's hard, and when I told myself during the game, I'm like, I'm not going to get too fixated on all the penalties and all the calls and stuff, because there'll be time for that later. The rest of the world will be doing that later. But the freeze frame that I finally saw, on a few of these these Instagram pages and stuff, they don't show those during the broadcasts. We don't see a lot of those during the actual broadcast. So, but like the Chris Jones, his head clearly over the ball in the neutral zone, not called. It's like the world's seeing that. You guys have these announcers every game. We have all these NFL games throughout the year, and these ex-football players, these ex-quarterbacks. We go to Gene's territory in New York, and what does this mean? All year long, we hear, what is, lining up in the neutral zone, what is offsides, and it's like, there it is. We're looking at it. Nobody calls it. The mystery flag where Dalton Kincaid, at the last pass drops the ball. It was like, it was 4th down. It was like there was less than 2 minutes in the 4th quarter. And the ball, once the ball hits the ground, it's like there's a flag on the field. The little thing comes up, Tony Romo, there's a flag, and then it's gone. It's gone. It's like, what was that about? Was that just in case Kincaid catches the ball and there's a first down? Why'd they pick the flag up? Who threw the flag? What was it for? Like, it's like, and then there's petty little things. The 1 second difference before the 2-minute warning that they let runoffs, which should have essentially been a delay of game for the Chiefs and given the Bills a full 2 minutes. When they punt the ball. But there's just, you guys know it. Like, there's so many. Oh, the other one too. 1:35. So after the Chiefs take the ball over, 1:35 in the 4th, Mahomes literally sends 2 dudes in motion at the same time. I'm sorry, I was gonna like, what am I missing about this rule? Like, were they not set? Because they looked set. Like, everybody got set, and then Mahomes sends 2 guys in motion at the same time. These illegal formations have really benefited the Chiefs for a lot of fucking games this year. Illegal formation, this and that, and then you send 2 guys in motion at the same time. What am I missing? Why was that not a penalty? The one that broke my heart, though, the one that killed me, was when Josh Allen drops back and he's in the pocket and he's dancing around here, and he points downfield at the fucking defender who's holding his receiver. He's pointing at the guy as he's dodging all these guys. And there's no call. And that's why it kills me with Josh Allen, because he gets up there like a man. He takes it on his shoulders. To be the man, you got to beat the man. You don't think Josh Allen gets on the internet and sees the conspiracy theory talk and sees exactly the crap we're looking at, sees exactly the things that we're seeing, these bogus calls? How the hell was that not called? How could Josh Allen see that and the rest of them not see it? This is the AFC Championship game. Because they don't want to call it, because they don't, and this is why I'm officially I am checked out of the product of the NFL. I don't care anymore, because it's just you're fucking with guys' legacies now, and I'm not talking just Josh Allen, and this and that, but like, you have records that are going to fall from some of the greats that played in a time where it was hard to be a quarterback, and these records are falling because the NFL wants to push this fucking team, into the spotlight and have this dynasty and this, and it's just, I'm glad that the world is seeing it, and not even the Bills or whatever, but Nick, if it was the Raiders or if it was the Eagles or if this was, Carolina, whatever, like, and it's like we would all feel the same way. It's just it's crap, and I'm tired of buying it. I'm tired of like thinking like I'm gonna buy this lie. Like I can keep buying this lie, and it's just that's just it. But yeah, when seeing him up on that podium, after he's pointing at the guy being held, no flag, don't matter. And the catch. I'll just say this to the catch, and if Andrew was here, he would say, well, it's 50-50. Ty goes the offensive player. Let me just ask this. If the roles were reversed, if it was a Buffalo receiver and it was a Kansas City defense and the same thing happened, we all sitting here know for a fact that ball would have been incomplete. We fucking know it. You guys know it.
It would have been an interception.
There you go. Even better. Even better. Make it blatant. But we know it. And that right there, like, that's it. Because I can't watch a game anymore and view that kind of situation as a legitimate call anymore.
Nick,
I can't do it.
Nick, what do you say that?
So look, I mean, Jake, I swear, guys, we didn't talk. Jake is saying everything that I want to say, and I was gonna go on the frustration part is that they get every 50-50 call. Yes. That's the frustration part. It's not that they get calls. We can probably go watch a lot of NFL games and one team gets more calls than the other, and it kind of in the nature of the game. Sure, the Eagles have gotten some calls here and there. Sure, like that's, we all know that, like the refs aren't perfect. That's not what we're asking for. But every big 50-50 call, it just always leans that way. That's the frustrating part. And I was going to say the same thing. We know for a fact if that's Mahomes on that sneak or if that's a Mahomes pass, they go the other way. Like, there's not a doubt in my mind. Like, as much faith as I have in my Lord and Savior, I don't even think one bit that those calls wouldn't have gone the other way. That's how much faith I have in this nonsense that we see every single week. That we know if it's close, it goes to the Chiefs. Like, that's just the frustrating part. And I'm gonna like reason or like sympathize with Jake. I was like, Jake, this is how I felt as a Raider fan for my entire life. Because I can guarantee you, and I know now you guys are trying to see a little bit of what we've had to deal with the overall scheme of, the conspiracy. And you guys can say, oh, Raider fans all say this, but no. I am watching a game, and every time it's a close call, and we had a chance, I'm like, oh, no, they're not going to overturn it.
Well, I actually, Nick, didn't know.
I'm talking to my brother. I'm like, 100% they're not going to overturn it.
But
I'm literally right.
Did a good job. You did a good job that time that you brought all those stats and stuff, because I honestly didn't know a lot of the history about the lawsuits and stuff, but it makes total sense. Absolutely. So,
and I've had that same feeling, Jake, the same feeling you guys are feeling about the Chiefs. I've had it for 30 years as a Raider fan. Like, if it's when they go to review, I was like, nope, they're gonna overturn it. Like, I know, or they're gonna whatever way is opposite of ours. Like, I just know, I'm like, and I'm literally right like 90% of the time. Like, I just know we're not gonna get the benefits of the doubt. And again, does that mean we're destined to lose? No, we just have to overcome that, and it's frustrating. Same thing with these games. Did they win specifically because of these calls? No, I mean, the game was tied with 3 minutes left, but it makes it that much harder. That's the point. It's just frustrating.
That was my point. That was my point for bringing up the stat about, teams where, there's been, teams that scored 4 touchdowns and with no turnovers in a playoff game since 2018 are 21-2. Those 2 losses have been the Bills' losses to the Chiefs.
They just won 2 games in a row in the playoffs, getting outgained, getting time of possession. Everything that you try to go in a playoff game that we've all been taught. Keep the ball, have more rushing yards, time of possession, win turnover battle, all that stuff. And the Chiefs just won 2 games doing the opposite.
Right.
And they, in both games, they got questionable calls to help them with either their drives or on defense and to overcome what we're talking about.
I wanted to answer your question, Jake. Like, how is it that the ref that doesn't see overcome the guy who does see? It's because we're talking about it. It's already in the code. that whatever call, it's in favor of the Chiefs no matter what. That's a pre-done call with these refs, and you can tell because we're all seeing it. There's a new commenter here with the name of Mike. Thank you for commenting, buddy, and joining us here on the Sports Rancher. He says, as a regular gambler, he'd rather lose every dollar on a fair game than continue to watch this shit with the Chiefs. And it's starting to hurt everybody on every level, man. You know.
The other thing that I haven't heard anybody talk about it. The other thing that I didn't understand live when I was watching the game, because again, as a Raider fan, I remember the index card game. If you guys remember that, you know, we didn't get the first down by an index card. So they just come out. I've seen them measure a ball and the guys be a yard short or 3 feet short, 2 feet short. What you're telling me there wasn't a little bit of a respot there and at least bring out the chains?
Yeah,
Like
why were the chains not brought out?
How is that? If the Raiders can lose by an index card, come out, show me the index card at least. Come out, show me that wasn't a first down.
I had that written down.
How do they not come out and measure that? How do you see from that video, from the replay, yep, he's short, and we don't need to measure?
And the thing is, they didn't even, referees, when it's close, like, they'll talk. Hey, what'd you see? What'd you see? What'd you see?
Yeah.
They didn't even talk. The guy that was like, that couldn't see the ball was like, no, this is where it's at. No talk. No chains come out. No chains come out to measure that. It's just, I want to, and the thing is I want to be like, this is just egregious. It's mind blowing. How do they do this? But I'm not surprised at all.
No,
Right.
Not at all.
I'm not surprised.
So what do you do? Like, you
We're
know,
just frustrated.
Seth, I'm sorry to cut you off, Jake. You're absolutely right. But Seth, our other host, Andrew, who couldn't join us today, has to witness twice now that the 2 times that his team's been in the Super Bowl, it's been Chiefs and Pat Mahomes killing his fucking dreams, right? 2018, you were up on that with Big Dick Nick, right? But obviously now you're going to see your second Super Bowl against Pat Mahomes. And we've been watching this Chiefs stuff. Like I said, man, what is it you think is going to happen?
See, that's the hard thing is, like, I truly don't think that they have anything for us on offense unless Andy Reid comes up with something crazy. Like, I think we played the more explosive offense last week. So I don't really know.
Well, are you going to be attached to these 50-50 calls, or you already know that going in? Like, you've already seen it once, you know, or whatever happened in the first Super Bowl. You've been watching it. Like, what are you going to do? Like, are you just going to?
There's a mysterious hold call.
I'll tell you what you're going to see. Because, no, Seth is right. If this is a fair game, the Eagles should go out there and absolutely annihilate them.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but
yes.
The secondary for the Eagles, with Jalen Carter and fuck, who's the other tackle?
Nolan Smith.
Beast. Yeah, I mean, Mahomes should be running for his fucking life. I'll tell you what you're going to see. You are going to see the most egregious officiating game in a Super Bowl history you've ever seen. Seth, be back here in 2 weeks.
I don't know. The 49er games are really bad.
Be
the
back
49er
here
games are really bad.
Because if this game is fair, the Eagles are going to destroy them. No problem.
Wow.
But the officiating is going to be so bad. It is going to be so bad that it's going to keep it close.
It depends if they let their right tackle false start 15 times like he does every game. I counted 7 and I had to stop counting, guys. I counted 7 on that game. I was like,
shut up, Drew.
I want to enjoy the game.
Wow.
That's all Drew complains about.
I mean, let's talk about what we want, right? Like, I'm so fearful because I know exactly what I want. I'm praying for Saquon Barkley. He's the one that deserves this. Fuck Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, or, freaking Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid. Like, this is Saquon's moment, man. And the other guys with the league,
He got a little dinged up, didn't he? Didn't he have a calf pull or something?
I mean,
nah, it was more like a cramp.
Dude, we've seen these runs, these backwards hurdles. Like, dude, like, it really is his, and I really hope that is true, Jake, that if they just come out and play this game, but Saquon is just too good. He's too good, like he has been, to overcome. And that's why I asked the question, is this Saquon Barkley's first playoff appearance? Because I'm excited for him. You know, look at the season that he's had away from the Giants. And look at the successes he's had in Philly after not wanting to go, really. And God, I'm just praying. You know, like I said, I really am praying for some Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl. And like I said, we are going to be Chiefs fans. And but I want to ask you guys,
Eagles
fans. I'm sorry. Whoa, blasphemy. But I wanted to ask Seth. Jake is the second person I've talked to this weekend that's like, look, I'm checking out. I've come to a realization that I no longer watch WWE and WWF because I know that it's scripted and fake. As good as these athletes they are, so I come to that realization. He was that mad, and he don't want to talk about it anymore. And I'm like, wow. And so, what do you think about people and the product, and really how that's going to affect the game going forward? If the NFL's going to do anything about it, if they even care.
Me personally, as long as my team keeps winning and is in the script, I'm good with it.
Look, I will say that the frustrating part for me, and I said it last week, and I just got to say it again, is because I heard a couple times today, oh, they're going for something no one team's ever, but they're gonna go down as the best team in history and yada yada yada. And I'm just like, that's the frustrating part is they're not that good. Like they're not that good. That's like we all see it. I'm not trying to discredit them. Andy Reid is a freaking genius. Like all that stuff. Of course, Patrick Mahomes clutch and he makes the throws when he needs to and all that. But they're not that good to go down in history as one of the best teams and yada yada, all this stuff. They're just they set the record for the most one-score games in a row. Like, yeah, you're not that good. Like,
Right.
why are you in
I've actually
one-score
spoken
games all
on
the time? Like, why are you
I've
in
actually
one-score
spoken
games
on
all the
that.
time?
I've spoken with my coworkers on that a lot. I actually liken this season for the Chiefs very much to the Eagles last year. I think the biggest difference is they have better coaching in place. Like their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, Spags is very, very, seasoned, and Andy Reid has seen it all. Whereas like we had brand new coordinators at offensive and defensive, and Sirianni is still a fairly new coach. So when we had that collapse, look at all the wins before that. It was all very, very close games. Very like we got lucky on some of them. Against the Chiefs, they dropped the ball at the end zone. Against the Bills, we had to go into overtime, and Jalen Hurts had to play out of his mind. I think it's very, very similar. The difference is they just had a better coaching path set in place. So that's the only reason that they've avoided so many, like all these losses that could have been on their record.
Well, and
instead they're a one-loss team.
No.
Do you think Andy Reid salivates at the mouth a little bit that he goes against the Eagles, his former team that he could never win with? Do you think that means anything to him, Nick?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, he already got him once, so like, I'm sure this one. But why not get him twice? But yeah, 100%. I don't think he has any bad blood to the Eagles. I mean, he was there forever. It was his home thing. Like they couldn't get over the hump, and McNabb and all them guys, like Brian Dawkins and all. I remember those teams too. Like those teams were sick. But I don't think they left with a sour taste. He didn't get fired prematurely or nothing. Like I think he respects the organization just fine. They gave him all the opportunity possible. Just wasn't able to make it happen. I mean, but of course, when you're going back to your ex-girlfriend, right? Like, no matter how you ended it, you could have ended it good or bad. Like, you want to shove it in her face. Like, that's, hey, look, I got a hotter wife now. Like, that's just what you want to do. So of course, I think it's gotta feel good for Andy Reid, and of course, he wants to get him as many times as he can.
Awesome. Well, to close out the show, guys, obviously, we're gonna get on. I know if we get onto a news topic, we're gonna rant on forever. But obviously, the game preview: Eagles versus Chiefs. So, Jake, real quick, how did the Chiefs overcome? I'm sorry, why am I doing this? It's like programmed. It's like it's like
because that was your prediction.
Whoa! Like what is going on? Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm sorry. Like It's almost stupid. Like it wasn't even a prediction. It's I've been watching this for years now, and we know what's going to happen. So Jake, please tell us what's going to happen. You already did kind of. Close it out for us.
There's no way. There's nothing I can see. Like Nick said, that where the Chiefs have any advantage over the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to come out. I think this is how it's going to go. I think the Eagles are going to come out. I think they're going to try and run the ball. I think they'll probably have success here and there. I do. Chiefs O-line, Chiefs D-line is pretty good and all that stuff. I think you're going to have some calls that keep it close, some drive killers and all that stuff. I think it's going to be real close for first half, where Saquon's going to have a decent game. It's going to be one of those where it's just like it just somehow it's just going to keep close. It's going to keep close. It's going to keep close. I hope that the Eagles come out and throw the shit out of the ball the first few drives and kind of spread fucking Kansas City back, and then let Saquon just take over the game. But I just hope that the Eagles can come out and play as absolute clean, mistake-free, no stupid holding calls, none of that stuff. Clean football, control the clock, just let Saquon run it down their throats. And guys, I'm telling you now, if Jalen Carter could get just a blindside hit on Mahomes and just pop him out of the game in the Super Bowl, I'll take all of us here out for fucking drinks after the Super Bowl. Like, if he could just destroy him. Wow. I mean, it would be the best thing ever. But I think it's going to be a close game because I just do. I'm sorry. Like, Seth, I'm sorry. I think I'm telling you right now, I think the Eagles up and down are a better team. It shouldn't be close. It's going to be close. Yeah. I all I can say is yes. What do I think is going to happen? I think that the media and everybody's going to get their parade. What I'm praying to God and what I hope in my soul is that the Eagles pull it out.
Awesome, Nick.
Just real quick before I make my prediction, I just want to remind everybody, a couple shows back, we all said the Chiefs Eagles would be our worst Super Bowl. Two teams that we don't want to win the worst, the most. I know Seth heard that. So I am gonna have to give Sirianni credit, even with all the distractions, all that stuff. Apparently, he's got to be a pretty good coach. He's got his 2 Super Bowls, and as annoying and as much as we hate him, he's gotten his team there. And
he's the most Philly coach that there is.
And our teams are not. So the 2 most unlikable teams that we don't want are there. I'm going to go 26-22 Eagles were able to pull it out with Saquon being the MVP.
Holy moly. Seth?
Truthfully, I hope it stays close. I like close games, especially in a Super Bowl. Makes it more entertaining, makes it all the better when you win. For my heart, I hope we just blow the roof off.
No chance.
But
take no chance.
It's gonna end up being a defensive game. It's the number 1 versus number 2 defense. The biggest X factors are gonna be Mahomes and Hurts. How do they look? Like, who can get their offense going better, faster? And yeah, I could see it being exactly in the like what Nick just said, in the 20s, 22, 24, something like that, 21, 24, something like that.
Well, we're going to see. I'm glad you mentioned that, Jake. It's going to be close. There was something I was thinking about. Like, why is it that they're so good, they're the Chiefs, but why is every game so close? It's like they want to feed this hope to everybody and linger on like a fishing line of hope, and then just snatch you out of it. So, yes, it's going to be close, and I'm going to go ahead and roll with what I don't want to happen, because it's going to happen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to be the one to say it. The Chiefs are going to win, because they're pushing this three-peat nonsense. 3-cheat is what I'm going to call it, the 3-cheat. But with that said, we're going to talk about it, you guys, right? Either next week. We'll be here next week. and we'll be covering the Super Bowl, and we'll cover it, guys, and we're going to be here for you live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. I want to say thank you to Seth, special guest. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Nick, for joining us here today and bringing us your passion. We're gonna make a few shorts out of your anger rants, Jacob. I love it. It was perfect. But with that said, you guys, peace be the journey, and one love.
Peace.
Later, guys. Later.
Sal said, thank you, Seth.